When someone first gets to know you, let's understand this, okay? So their brain has a representation of who you are. In the early phases, right, the representation is like not based on a lot of data. So they don't know whether you like fishing. They don't know what you're good at cooking. They don't know whether you leave the toilet seat up or down. They haven't seen you interact with dogs or cats or your parents. When we think about another human being, our representation of them is a lot of data points. So early on, if you trauma dump, what percentage of the data points they have about you are trauma dumping, right? So if you trauma dump 2 weeks into a relationship, that's like a gigantic amount of what they know about you. They don't have the rest of the context. So I think trauma dumping at an early phase absolutely dominates their perception of who you are. And that's not their fault. This is just how human beings work. I want y'all to think about, like, if you meet someone for the first time and they are like absolutely falling apart, what are you going to think about them, right? That's this one experience, which is 100% of what you know about them, they're falling apart. Like, it's not going to form a good impression. But I think sometimes what actually happens with people who trauma dump, I'm laughing, but it's really not funny. It's terrifying, is that they're like, okay, if I trauma dump too early, I'm going to drive people away. So instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to slow play it. I'm going to kind of pretend to be somebody else. I'm going to pretend to be like a normal person for 6 months, and then bam, then I'm going to trauma dump. And so this is where I got to say this. It's like kind of never okay to trauma dump, right? So like trauma dumping is something that we get professional training to handle. This is something that, like, if we talk about the treatment of trauma, I received 8 years of training. 8 years of training. This is like training at Harvard Medical School and working 80 hours a week, okay? Not everyone gets that, but like this is what it takes to handle trauma dumping. So if you are someone who's like, okay, I'm going to like pretend to be, not pretend, but I'm going to show 50% of who I am to this person, and then there's this gigantic part that I am obscuring, and then one day I will show that thing, that also can give people whiplash. Because for 6 months, you showed this side of you, and then there's this completely other side that they had never seen before. And the right way to really handle that is to dump where dumping is appropriate, right? Like no dumping allowed. Have you guys seen those signs? That's where I think working through your stuff through a professional is like a really good idea. Like we have a whole trauma guide where we talk about how to like work through that stuff, right? So work through some of that stuff. And then this is where the whole goal is it's not to hide who you are. It's to not dump. Like, don't go from 0 to 100. Like, work on it some, get rid of some of the trash yourself, and then like share 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, then go deeper. Also, you can go deep pretty fast, but they need to be able to handle it, right? Like, it's really more about whether they can handle the acceleration as opposed to, okay, now that it's 6 to 9 months, like, let's go to 100 miles an hour.